Today I'm going to show you how to make koala mittens. Now you may be asking, why can this girl from Pennsylvania teach me how to make koala mittens? I have a sewing machine and I know how to use it. I have watched numerous videos on YouTube about koalas. That makes me totally koalified. The first piece of advice I'm going to give you about making koala mittens is don't make koala mittens. I know you're probably all at home like, what the heck? No, seriously, this happens every couple years and then they end up with 3,000,000,005 pairs of koala mittens. Okay, 3,000,000,004. You know I'm bad at math. If you log into the various Facebook groups, they frequently post what they need. Red means desperate need, and if there's a little check by it, they don't need those right now. So if you really want to sew something, go ahead and check out some other patterns. But since you clicked on this video, I'm going to show you how to make them. We're going to go over two versions of koala mittens today. The very basic, easiest version you can make, and a version with French seams, which sounds a lot more difficult than it actually is. Okay, so a koala is approximately, I don't actually know because I've never seen a koala in real life. They're approximately the size between Jojo and Gizmo. Good thing for us, there's a pattern we can use. Here's the pattern I printed out. The problem is, it says mitten to size, but it's not really to scale. It's 150 millimeters by 125 millimeters. After I converted, who am I kidding? Siri converted it. Pesky math again. It comes out to about 6 inches by 5 inches, which you can see, this is only about 4.5 inches. I'm just gonna take a piece of paper and sort of make my own. That's more like it. So for these, you're gonna need a front and a back. I've just folded the fabric so we can cut two at the same time. Make sure the fabric you're using is 100% cotton. So for these very, very basic koala mittens, you can take a pair of pinking shears. They have these little zigzags on them. That helps prevent the fabric from fraying. And I'm just gonna cut right along the bottom. You can see I've kept my fabric wrong sides together. I'm gonna put a couple pins. And now we're gonna cut the tie. So for the tie, you're just gonna take a piece of ribbon or yarn, and there's no actual length on the instructions. I'm gonna cut mine about 14 inches. It's best to cut it a little long. They can always trim it down if they need to. So you're gonna take your ribbon, fold it in half and put a crease. Then you're gonna place that crease right on top of your mitten. We're gonna sew around the mitten with about a 1/4 inch seam allowance. You're gonna wanna make sure that that ribbon is right where those stitches will go. Now you can see we went right over that ribbon, so that's attached. Feel free to go over it a couple times to make it more secure. When you're coming around to the other side, make sure you take your ribbon and move it out of the way. The last step is to take those pinking shears again and clip all around the edge. Once again, that's to help it from fraying. Make sure you don't cut into the stitches. And there you have it, a very basic koala mitten. And now a short poem I've written called Koala Mittens. Don't you dare call a koala a bear. They are pretty rare. Help show that you care. If you have time to spare, sew up a pair. And please share for those unaware. Life can be so unfair for such a sweet little non-bear. Are you embarrassed? Can someone just give a koala the name Bear already? That would be so awesome. Let me know down in the comments. Are you Team Koala or Team Koala Bear? Now for the French seam version. I've cut two pieces again, but as you can see, I've added about a 1/4 inch the entire way around the pattern. That will account for the French seam that we're gonna sew. If you don't have pinking shears or you wanna make the edge just a little bit neater, fold the straight edge in twice, about 1/8 of an inch, and iron in place. And then stitch right along this edge. That way there will be no raw edges. Now you're going to take both pieces and put them right sides together. Put a couple pins to hold them in place and sew a 1/4 inch seam allowance all the way around. Go ahead and take those pins out. Now trim down the seam allowance to about 1/8 of an inch. You can see how close I've cut that. Make sure you don't cut into the stitches. Go ahead and flip the koala mitten right side out. Iron it to make sure that seam is laying nice and flat. Cut your ribbon. Again, I'm going to cut mine about 14 inches. Fold that in half and crease it. Make sure you place the center of the ribbon off to one side and then stitch around the mitten with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Make sure to move that other side of the tie out of the way when you're coming down the final edge. Once again, clip any loose threads for the safety of the animals. Now if you check, there is no raw edges on the inside of here, and the bulky seam is on the outside. This is exactly what they want. So there you have it, 2 different ways to make koala mittens. Now forget all about this tutorial until the next time that this happens, which is hopefully never.